morning, Vietnam. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of It's Only Monday podcast. This is the podcast to put a little pep in your step. This is the podcast to make a Monday feel like a Friday. This is the podcast to get your Mondays going. That feels so good to say again. It's been a minute. What's up? How you doing? You good? I'm good. Are you good? I hope you're great. Listen, guys, it's Monday morning. Let's get the energy going. Let's get it flowing. You might be in bed right now. You might be on the subway right now. You might be on the bus right now. You might be in the car right now. You might be just walking down the street. You might be in the gym. You might be actually coming back from work. You might be getting ready to go to school. Whatever it is you're doing right now, me dropping the kids off, you coming back to do a grocery run in the morning. Yo, there's so many things you could be doing right now, but I'm glad you are tapped in and listening with me. You could be anywhere in the world right now, and you are, because the power of the internet makes it possible for us to have a conversation at any time, any day. So, happy Monday. I hope you're excited to get this Monday going. We get another day. Let's first thank God for another day, because look, we get another one at bat. We get another day to try again, to be able to enjoy the things that we have, the people around us, the things that we're aiming for, all those type of things. Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, it doesn't matter. Every day is a gift from God. So just thank God for another day. I'm always thankful for another day. So today, what do we want to talk about today? Man, there's something I've noticed. I think I always start these with there's something I've noticed, right? But there is something I've noticed. And the thing that I noticed, let me get some coffee in the morning. Let me just get a little. But make sure I have the water to hydrate. You know, you gotta stay hydrated. Let me give me a sec. I think the dehydration was kicking in. Anyways, today I wrote some notes in too, so let me check the notes and see what we talking about this Monday morning. Something I think that might help you, definitely should help somebody out there, and something that I think might put things in perspective if you are this person. And if you're not this person, you might just totally understand where I'm coming from with this and just be agreeing the whole time and be like, yeah, finally someone understands me. But maybe this is a way that you can explain this to the people that don't understand it, what it is, right? So the notes I have right now is, I'm not going to read it word for word, but I just got to read it to myself so I remember what it is I want to talk about. It's about, okay, we see so many different things on the internet, in person, around the world, and we see people that are, you know, doing good, succeeding, doing well, all those type of things. And we want to learn from them. We want to take advice from them and tips from them, right? But the thing is, I've noticed is when people want something, fine, that's great. The desire is okay. The desire to want more is fine. You know, it's not greed. It's, you know, once we've accomplished something, we want to do more and more and more. That's normal. That's part of our human nature. But there's something I've noticed sometimes is people want an outcome or an output without putting the same input. Alex Hormozi says this as well. And many other people have said this as well. But the input versus output conversation, I think it's something that needs to be said, because I'm noticing in general, and I've noticed it in my life as well and people around me and stuff, is that people want an outcome, but they're only willing to put a certain amount of input into it. Now, what do I mean? Perfect example is, you know, we can say anything. You can put anything there, any goal somebody has, but people never really realize what it takes to get into. Here's an example. And I who was it that said this? Oh, I don't know the name of the person. I need to start writing down these quotes when I see them. But there was a guy that said on a channel, an Instagram account that I watch and listen to, he said, God doesn't show you the full path. Like if he showed you the outcome of what you need to go through to get to where you're going, you probably would give up. And you might be saying, well, what do you mean? Like, because it's going to be hard sometimes, you know, it's going to be trials and tribulations. There's going to be things that you're going to have to overcome. And if you knew that going in, some of the things that you might see that you have to overcome, you're like, oh, forget it. You know what? It's not even worth it. That's what you might think. If most people explained their story of how they got to where they got to, especially people that we, you know, look up to, or people that we want to be like, or people that have accomplished, you know, even worldly things that we want to one day accomplish ourselves, the sacrifice they've made to do it sometimes is so great and people overlook it. Like it's easy to say in passing or in general, like, oh, I would do that. Like if someone said, if you really wanted your dream to come true, you would have to sleep in your car for 2 years. Like that sounds like, okay, yeah, I could do that. But that's with the knowledge of the outcome. You get what I'm saying? If I come to you and say, look, you're going to get, your dreams come true. I'm going to give you $10 million and you're going to have all the dreams that you've ever had, all the wants you want, all are going to happen, but you're going to have to sleep in your car for 2 years. You're going to be like, sure, I'll definitely do that. But if you don't know what's going to happen for sure, if I told you that, okay, look, you're going to sleep in your car for 2 years, your dreams may or may not happen. Your goals, you may or may not reach them. Failure might happen. What are you going to do? A lot of people, some people say they'll bet on themselves, but it's so easy to say these things when we're not actually implementing them. And this goes to all of us around the world. We all have something that we're not putting the right amount of input in and expecting an output. Or we think it's only this much of an input that needs to be put in, whether it's energy, work, time, trying and trying again, it doesn't matter. And I see it, and sometimes I kind of laugh when I see certain things because people will see something, see someone obtain something and be like, I want that. Cool. They start to put in the input for it. And they either think they've done enough to do it, which is like probably 0.5% of what they actually need to do to get to where that person is or whatever the goal is. Or they think they've had enough time at it. And it's like, you clearly haven't, And it just makes me have to say this Monday morning, if this is you, or if it's you and you don't know, because the funny thing is some people don't know that this is them. Like you don't know. You think that like, oh, I tried at something and didn't work out and it failed. But you only tried 3 times. You tried 5 times. You tried 10 times. Really and truly, the person that made it tried 3,000 times. But you didn't see those 3,000 times. You just saw the end result and you're like, whoa, look at that. They did this at this. And that's another thing I think about our society right now. We're too much in this microwavable society. What do I mean by microwavable? Microwavable, I mean by like, people are forgetting the amount of time it really takes to obtain certain things because of social media and the internet and certain things. We've seen people obtain things fast, goals fast, whatever. So we think it's easy. We think that like, and it's also, you have to understand the level. See, I'm kind of going a lot here, so make sure you follow me. The level of the things that you want to obtain really matters because you might be looking at things at the level of like, I want to attain this at the highest level. Or do you want to obtain it at the lowest level? Like, for example, fame. Some people want fame. We call it clout now, attention. It's all the same thing, right? But some people just want it in general. Do you want it for what you do? Okay, great. You want it for what you do. It's not really just about yourself. It's not this like egotistical, like, I just want to be fame. I just want people to no, it's I have a craft, an art, a skill, something that you want to share with the world and you want attention on that. Nothing wrong with that. But what level do you want it to? Like we have people that will, let's say actors, for example, will work on their craft and go to school for acting and continue practicing and work at their craft in and out, day and night, every day, practicing for that role of their life, or, creating multiple films and eventually becoming the best at it, right? We can think of so many different actors that are considered like, the greatest of all time. But they're doing it at the highest level of their skill to get that attention. Then we can have people where, they want the attention, so they just do some, you've seen stuff like this, like the crazy in the hood pranks, or, doing just stupid stuff to just get attention. Like, jumping over a cash register at some fast food chain and taking all the food out of the place, or, the people that go to the hood to mess with people in the hood to try to get views, like, and do stupid stuff. Like we've seen those things, right? And you can see those as like maybe the low level of trying to get attention. One is using skill and practicing and being mastery to become the greatest you can. And the other one is, just doing foolishness to just get it low level attention because you just want the attention. See, and that's the level I'm trying to say where it's like the input and output, one takes a lot of time and sacrifice and skill and, patience, while the other is kind of just this fast food, microwavable. I just want the attention now. I want the clout now. I want the clicks now. I want the views now. So I'm just going to go do something stupid, which sometimes people end up arrested or in jail because they did something so dumb and can go so south. We've all seen those, or even the prank goes south, whatever. But that's just an example of the input versus output. So this Monday morning, I just really want you to think about that because, and I think this leads into another thought I have is like the celebration of things, right? It's the reason people want the output so quickly is because they want to celebrate. They want to be able to be in the fun phase, the enjoying phase, the having fun with what they've accomplished. But instead of trying to accomplish something, which usually to accomplish something takes a lot of time and effort. Like we all know, there's things I've accomplished in my life. It took years and I'm still not exactly where I want to be with that. I have so much further to go with it. But it's like just to even the level of where I've gotten, it took time, right? So many things, even you this Monday morning in your life, there's so many things you could think about that took time and effort and sacrifice to get to. And you might not even be at the 100% of where you want to be. It might be only 40% of where you want to be. But like, even that took so much time. But people just want to celebrate. They want to get to the finish line so fast without putting in the work, realistically. Work means time, means sacrifice. It means, repetitiveness. There's a quote, again, I don't want to misquote. I'll say Bruce Lee, or maybe it's somebody else, but it's, I don't fear the guy that practices 1,000 kicks in one day. I fear the guy who practices one kick every day for 1,000 days. Meaning and I don't want to say consistency because I feel like everyone says consistency, but it's not even about the consistency. It's about the consistent practice of the things. Like it is consistency at the end of the day, but it's in the way of the work. See, the thing is, I think we are so caught up in our society now of and I think this should be another episode, but and I said this in one time, the easy way of things, right? But it's not even the easy way of things. It's like, we don't want to go back to the ABCs and the fundamental of things, I think, nowadays. We want to jump all the way to the complexities of how something can be really good. And there's different things you can do on the other end of it once you've put in the work. It's like people okay, here's a perfect example. LeBron James and all these basketball players can be endorsements, right? They can have endorsements, and even let's go back to actors. Can I use actors, for example? Actors can have endorsements and all these, deals with stuff, but it's because of their skill of what they do, right? They're really, really good. They get really famous and popular, whatever. Their work speaks for itself. They have movies that can make you cry and stuff. And then they can get brand deals with like these big companies and all this stuff, right? People can do that too now. But the thing I think that's happening nowadays with skipping the fundamentals of things is people want to get to that other part of getting the deals and being the face of some high, cologne or perfume brand or something like that, and those type of things without putting in the work fully. They want to start, kind of be there, kind of start, and then expect to do those things. And they want to kind of go backwards. Where it's possible you can do that. We've seen that. We see it on TikTok and social media and stuff where people, blow up and then now they're thrown and thrusted into the limelight and now they got all these deals, but they're not necessarily, a master of their craft. And I think this is where this leads to becoming a master of your craft. I think we have to get back to that. This Monday morning, whatever it is you do it with intention, do it with trying to master it. I have this conversation with my wife all the time about mastery of things, and people seem not to want to be a master of things anymore. They want to just do it, but like, and there's nothing wrong with doing a bunch of different stuff, but we've lost the art of people being, like masters and specialists and, doing something. And I get it. The world's constantly changing. So I think there's a fear that people have that the world's changing. I need to make sure I jump on this thing and that thing. But mastery of something will never go away. They always say the specialist, right? The specialist is like, you want to get a surgeon to do something. Do you go to a general surgeon or do you go to a specialist that only does this, right? If you want to get something fixed, you want to go to the person that only does that, not the person that, dabble. And there's nothing wrong with that because that person can maybe help you too. But depending on the complexities of their stuff, like people that have a serious problem that needs a serious solution, they're not meaning serious in the sense of like it has to be bad, but like they got a big problem. Like if a brand or a company needs something fixed, they come to someone that's a specialist to do it, not just a generalist, right? So I think that's another thing. It's another conversation for a different time, different dinner. But I think we lost the art of having masters of whatever it is. So this morning, I just want you to think about it. Whatever it is that you're doing, make sure that the input you're putting in is of enough to get the output you want. And you might be saying, well, what is enough? Enough is when you actually get it, then you'll know. You know, that's the thing. And the thing is, most people cut it off and stop before they even get there. You know, we're all guilty of it. I'm not guilty of it either. We're all guilty of it. But the thing about getting another day to live and survive and wake up and thank God for another day is you have another day to get back at it. It's not over. Until you're 6 feet under, it's not over. That's what I want to say this Monday morning. So the input versus your output, if you want something, make sure you're putting in the actual, and then if you're looking at somebody else as an example, which nothing wrong with that. You might look at a artist or a business owner or whatever you're looking at. If you're looking at them and you're like, hey, they have this, look at their full story. If you really want to know, like read autobiographies. Also, you know, you kind of have to have the discernment to know when people are kind of leaving things out, meaning, you know, they might skip a few parts of like, you know, over glorify some hard parts, skip the parts that actually really matter. And, you know, there's that famous joke where people make fun of Trump when he said, you know, I got a small loan of like $1 million from my dad or something, right? And maybe in his world, that is a small loan. You gotta be, it's also the perspective of things. If he's around always millionaires and multimillionaires and stuff like that since he was a kid, that's considered a small amount if they dabble in bigger numbers, right? So you have to be relative, you know, don't just take it as, well, $1 million. Of course, if I had, no, because that's another thing where people get misconstrued is, you know, if I had the money, I could definitely get it done. Not necessarily. Listen, the money doesn't necessarily mean that you can get whatever it is done. That's one thing people really need to get. They think that, you know, it's really just, it does play a part, but, and there's other things, relationships, things like that, but it doesn't necessarily be the answer. You know, sometimes people think, oh, I just throw money at it and it somehow solves a problem. No, sometimes it needs, and this goes to input output. Sometimes people think they just throw money at something and then the input is just, that's enough. No, it needs the sweat equity. It needs the time. It needs the thing. It needs time to marinate. It needs, you know, consistency. There's so many different factors of things. You know, again, you can apply this to anything, but I'm trying to be general so you can apply it to parts of your life. But yeah, today, this Monday morning, whatever it is you're working at, just know the input you're putting in is probably not enough if you don't have it what you want yet, or it just needs more time. And there's nothing you can do. You can't rush it. You just got to go through the motions day after day after day. Again, you don't fear the person that practices 1,000 kicks in one day. You don't fear the person that lifts 1,000 pounds only for one day. It's the person that lifts, you know, 50 pounds every single day for 1,000 days. It's the person that does one kick every single day for 1,000 days. That's the person that's going to get to where they're going because they're putting in the time and the effort it takes. So input versus output, just think about that. Hope you guys have a great Monday. Hope you have a great week. Make sure you just do your best, do your greatest, put in the best effort you can. We're here on earth. We got another day. Just make sure you put in the most you can to get the best out of it. I'm your boy JT. This is another episode of It's Only Monday podcast. Glad to be back. Hope you guys have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.